everybody. Welcome to the Green Room live from Cannabis 2022. Hey, Derek, down there 8 feet away.
Hey, Jackie.
We're like 6 feet away still. We're a little closer than we were before.
Yeah.
So who do we have joining us?
Kevin from ND Supply.
Kevin from ND Supplies. Did you?
Supplies.
With ND Supplies is packaging.
Yes.
Yes, we are. We are
The number one packaging.
Best packaging at the best price.
Thank you.
Continue.
Well, thank you, Jackie and Derek, for having me on. I'm happy to be here. Great show, and always love hanging around you guys.
Thank you. And so, do I get to keep this?
Absolutely.
So, tell us how the show's been treating you, how the circuit of conferences. Look at his face.
Well, the circuit of conferences has been great. I love getting out. I love networking. I love talking to everybody. Getting
In
feedback.
person.
In person, exactly, right? Always a pleasure hanging out with you guys and the Wiki team. Right?
Thank you.
Absolutely. And just being out here, really just getting exposure, learning from what people are saying, learning what the industry is up to, and just getting a little bit of feedback so we can do what we do best.
What are they saying? They're saying hemp packaging.
They're saying a lot of things.
Sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of it too. But at the same time, we want to draw that line between ideology and reality, right? Along with sustainable packaging, all these options comes cost, right? With margins as narrow as they are right now, how do we accommodate that, right? So
How do we accommodate that?
well, it's a little
ND
bit
Supply.
You're the expert.
Yeah, you're the expert. You just asked us a question. How do we accommodate that? All right, expert.
Well, honestly, at this point of the industry, right, everyone's trying to be the expert, right? So we're just trying to take the lead, right? Try to be ahead of the curve. When it comes to sustainability and things like that, we really need to map out, what materials are best, like closed loop systems and things like that. How do we reuse? We got to be a little bit creative in how we do things, right? So, and that's why we're here, right? Innovation comes through when we talk to people, we start that dialogue. And once we have that, then we can start mapping out the future.
So what's decided at first is not exactly like it evolves, evolution at the conversations. I mean, much like the Green Room podcast and a lot of podcasts out there in the space right now, things are evolving as compliance, as things change, our marketing, whatever. And is that the same for packaging? You're evolving. It's changed from, I like a glass jar, but apparently that's really heavy and expensive to ship. And there's certain,
Definitely. And
you can tell us about that stuff.
Yeah, it has a huge part to play in it. At the same time, I think the glass jar offers a little bit more of a premium feel. Right?
I love a glass jar.
It's beautiful. You can reuse it too, right? And it's also, it's got that little bit of heft to it.
Yeah, and it's not permeable, so it probably keeps the weed fresher.
It does, right? And you got that seal on top. You put a humidity pack like a Boveda in there, and you're good to go, right?
Is that how we say it, Boveda?
It is.
I don't know.
It's Spanish.
Boveda?
No, it's Boveda.
Okay. We gotta stop saying it until they sponsor the show. Stop saying that.
You hear that? Sponsor the show.
Sponsor the goddamn show.
I'm sure we'll get them on here. They'll be happy to be on here for sure.
So with challenges with packaging and challenging with market, how are things changing how are they evolving?
I think first and foremost, labeling is key, right? In order to educate the bud tenders, right? The frontline guys in the retail, like these guys go through thousands of SKUs. They have so much product on hand.
Right.
How are you gonna differentiate, right? Everybody's coming in, hey, what's fire? What's good?
What's
ITHC,
fire?
Low price. Well, it's just the
yeah.
news,
See,
right?
you just quoted someone that we've had on the show. He wants the highest TSC at the lowest price.
It's true, and that's what people want. Majority of people want, right? Because you gotta look at different price points and how that affects the consumer, right? So if you're able to educate the consumer, if I'm a bud tender, I can just read the label and be like, okay, this is what I'm expecting as a consumer. This is what I'm buying. Right. You pay with your, you vote with your dollars, right? And we know that, what's going out there is what people want.
Right.
Right. So as a consumer, I'm like, okay, look, this tastes like this. This looks like that. I open that and it does, meet expectations. Then you have a winner. Right now, I'm sold. Rather than, hey, what? I got weed in the bag. I got weed in the jar. What is it? What am I supposed to buy? I'm not buying just for THC percentage.
I thought we're not allowed to put fancy packaging on, though. We're not allowed to put cool labels, or we're not allowed to put informational, educational labels.
We are seeing a lot of that now. I think,
But is that breaking the rules or the law, pushing compliance?
Not really. I think Health Canada has been pretty lenient about that. There's people coloring outside the lines, and I think that's very important for them to let a little bit of evolution come in, right? And also, everyone's just learning as well. Health Canada included, right? All the regulators included,
right?
And we're only almost 4 years in,
right?
There's no way that we have it all mapped out. And although the initial rollout was a little more on the strict side, what they said was it's easier to loosen regulations than tighten them up. which makes sense.
That's true, right? Right.
It does make sense,
Yeah.
right? And that's why these events are great, because you learn things like that. This is not an email conversation. This is an in-person conversation where we get to know you a little bit more. It's like, do we want to work together, or
Yeah, because online you're all right, but in person you suck.
It's like Tinder, isn't it?
You know what? I've never been on Tinder other than like I've looked at some guests, but I like that guests that we've had on the show. They've had Tinder, and you swipe right and swipe left.
Absolutely.
It's really fun, but you need to meet in person. You need
You
to
do.
have these human connections, these human conversations. What's a major packaging faux pas or something you thought would fly that turned to shit?
Oh wow,
Come on, tell you got it. You can share it.
that's a good question. Well, really, it's just
You have to. I want to hear
I
it.
don't want to call anybody out, but then there's been a couple of missteps out there, right? Ourselves included, right?
Right.
Everybody makes mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes, right? Like
Mhm.
some of the tins, for example, out there, they're not airtight.
Yeah,
So that,
that's true.
that requires you to put another extra layer of
Oh, is that
overwrap
the tuna can tins?
on. No, the tuna can tins are pretty airtight.
Okay,
But they're not
okay.
resealable, and if you're going to sustainability, you have to put that plastic cap back on, which can or cannot be recyclable. I have nothing against them. At the
Right.
same time, it's more or less, like the freshness of it. If you use paper packaging, cardboard does suck out moisture from the cannabis,
Right.
so you have to put a humidity pack. But the cardboard will also eat at that too, so you got to overwrap that. It just adds extra steps.
Extra packaging, more
Right.
steps.
Yeah.
Do people come after you, the packaging people, like when they're like, you look at all this waste? Does any supply get a lot of?
We do as an industry as a whole.
As
It's
a
not-
whole,
yeah,
right.
It's not just us.
Is that
Right.
just you personally? You're not the only one filling up the landfill.
But I love those.
But it's not really your
conversations.
fault though, because it's like it has to be like that
Yeah,
because of the regulation.
it's true.
So it's like they're
Exactly.
forcing you to do something that maybe you would do it a different way if you had, the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah.
But you got to be in compliance.
Absolutely, and at the onset of legalization, you didn't really have too many choices. We didn't have a lot of time to start developing stuff,
Right.
right? So we put a lot of time and effort into R&D,
Mhm.
which also takes a lot of resources.
Right.
So that costs money too.
What
and
does R&D look
How long
like?
does it take to be in development, like
Yeah.
before it comes out?
it ranges. I mean, it can go from a few months to a year,
Wow.
depending on what we're trying to do. We're trying to do something a little extra innovative.
Mhm.
Because I'm not just shopping on like DHgate or Alibaba looking to bring something easy in. Like, I want to bring something that's actually formulated for a particular SKU or something like
Right.
that. Right? Like, for example, we know, that pre-rolls right now are a huge sector, and it's continuing to grow.
Mhm.
We know what the denominations are. 3 times 0.5. You also have 7, 12, and
Right.
so forth. So we want something that can accommodate that, but also if you have one SKU that can accommodate multiple product lines,
Mhm.
that saves money because now you have buying power,
Right.
right? If I have one tin that can do 5, 7, 12, right?
Right.
Something like a divvy tin, which isn't ours, by the way, so I'm not plugging myself. But
So the divvy
along those
tin,
lines,
okay, that has those little,
yeah, but the opening is a little, it could be
Precarious.
worked on, right?
right?
Mhm.
But so does everything else. in
Give us the
industry.
process of designing something. Like, so how does it work? Like, what is your process? So you see something, okay, this is going, we see that, pre-rolls are a big sector of the market. So now, and then, you'll get inspiration from seeing, what everybody's doing. Like, then how does it work? What's the process that you go through with your team?
It's really designing something that can be easily used. So from a processor point of view, when you're actually, packaging it physically, time is money, right? So if you're taking maybe like average 10 seconds to package something, and then you add a couple elements that's going to add 5 seconds to that, you put 5 seconds together over 100, over a day.
Oh,
1,000
time is
units.
money.
I know. Right? It's a
All this
valuable-
wasted time.
Or if it requires a special machine or
Yeah, exactly.
more labor for
Yeah.
this package. Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into
Oh
it.
man, it's crazy.
Wait.
But I love it.
What does like the R&D part of it look
So
like?
you're
You
an
said research.
optimizer.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just slap some rims on it, right?
Trying to make it a little,
Right.
What's your favorite package that you have?
Right now, we're working on some interesting tins coming out Q4. It's different look, still very ergonomic.
Tins?
Tins, yeah, I love tins. I love the fact that tins is readily recyclable. Majority of it too. It's It's not new mining, right? It's already done, being melted down and then brought back out.
Did you say mining? It's not new mining? Oh.
Yeah, mining.
Mhm.
Okay, this
Because
is
you gotta
all
mine
very...
that stuff, right? It's metal, so you gotta dig into earth and all the resources.
But
the overall
ND
carbon
Supplies
footprint.
doesn't do mining. They don't
No,
mine.
we're not a mining company.
You're not a mining company. You're a packaging company. I'm just wondering, like, we talk with people of seed to sale. So are you a mining company now as well?
No, we're not into that. No. But we're gonna be innovative with the materials, right? Like plastic, obviously, is on its way out. We're trying to find some materials to kind of replace that, right?
Right.
So it's easy for a consumer to use a tin and then throw that into recycling.
Right.
Not always with plastic. Most plastic. Sometimes you'll be like, okay, this plastic bottle, I'm gonna chuck it in the garbage, right? But with tins, at least you know that hey, this can easily go into a recycling bin. That's gonna be taken care of.
So ND Supply would get behind recycling
absolutely,
initiatives and
for sure.
like, because we definitely need those at our dispensaries.
We
I
do.
mean, look at but does that's a weird, right? You would have a love-hate with that too, right? Because if we're recycling, we're reusing, does that,
I'm okay with that.
do you have is there a way ND Supplies could use recycled materials?
There's a couple companies working on it now.
There
We're
is.
Yeah, we're also talking about reuse, right? So we can kind of sanitize the bottles and sell them back. Like obviously with after the labor costs and things like
Right.
that. But
Almost like cans or bottles when they take a little deposit. Maybe
I never
they
even
could do that.
thought of that.
we were
Yes.
talking about that on my panel yesterday about the deposit model.
Yeah.
But where does that cost fall? Who does that cost fall?
Well, you
on?
get it back when you bring it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a deposit. It's like beer bottles.
But does the retailer pay for that? Does the producer pay for that? Does the government pay for that?
Right.
Because it's really hard to get the government to pay for that for sure.
Well,
Right.
you give your money and then you get your money back when you bring the bottles back.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
He's like, yes, okay, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it.
Not even like that, but yes. But it's a lot bigger than that too, right? Because
Okay.
you need so many stakeholders to get involved with that, right? So we need to map out that process and see which people or which
Where the buck ends.
yeah, there you go. There you go, Derek.
Follow the money. Isn't that the way it always is? Where's the buck end?
It is,
Follow the
it is.
money.
Well, as long as the money saved gets shared across everybody else, then
Right.
I think
Which I
it's
think
a
we're
viable-
learning
And
right
if we're
now.
doing something good for the environment, and the government should get behind that, finance
should.
that program, and then ND Supplies will be happy to do it.
Yeah, but every province has different rules in terms
Right.
of recycling things like that.
Bureaucracy that's what you're telling us.
Well, there's a lot of red tape everywhere. Right? Trying to find those little loopholes
Right.
and try to slide under the red tape without having too much of us getting stuck on it. Right?
What's the most popular package like that you sell?
It would be a glass jar. To be honest, glass jar. A little smaller than this, a little lighter, so the profile's a little different.
That's the most popular?
It is, yeah.
So it's more popular than the pouches.
Pouches are popular too. They're easy to use.
Right, and
A
they're
lot of-
probably cheaper.
Oh, very cheap. Yes.
So you guys sell more higher end packaging, is that what you're saying?
We do bags as well, but right now we're focusing on a lot of flour, a lot
Right.
of things that people would want. Right? As a consumer myself.
Things that people would want,
Well,
I put packages in. All right, you packages for just the thing. So do you do this? No, just things that people want.
That's why I'm here, right? Why would I sell something that someone doesn't want?
Right.
Makes sense. That's business 101.
There you go, guys. Free one right there.
How can we find you guys? Find ND Supplies on socials? I mean, if you don't already know.
Well, we are on LinkedIn. And we're also on Instagram.
Yep.
So please come find us. We're also at a booth today, booth 301. If you guys want to come check us out, you're more than welcome to. Also, come check us out on ndsupplies.ca.
Okay.
And we'll find our products there. Give us a shout, and we'll be happy to help you.
Awesome.
With something innovative and cool and sustainable soon.
That's right. All the above.
All of the above. Thanks, Kevin, for
Thank
ND
you,
Supplies
Jackie.
joining
Thank
us.
you, Derek. You guys are
Joining us
awesome
on
as
the Green
always.
Room from Cannabis 2022.
Boom.